Hello, and welcome to another Talking Tour episode. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined once again by...
Hayden.
And today is a special one because we are talking about the Season 1 finale, Showdown. So, yeah, what do you think about these two episodes briefly?
Wow. Well, I don't think I have the words to describe it briefly, but I must say these episodes were at the top. These episodes just was incredible. Like the amount of work and effort that the producers have put into these two episodes alone just rivals all the other episodes that I've watched so far in this series, and to be honest, I'm kind of speechless on how it plays out. This is just, these episodes combined are just, there's so much going on, but they are really, really good.
Yeah, I have to say that the stuff with the turtles was really good and enjoyable, but oh god, that the stuff with Splinter and Shredder.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Okay, so to start this episode off, we got Krang Prime telling everyone about the invasion. So quick two questions here. What do you think of this scene, and also what do you think of Krang Prime?
well, Krang Prime, to be honest, I felt like I should have known who Krang Prime was, but as this is my first introduction to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I had no idea who she or whatever it is or anything like that. But introducing to Krang Prime is like is I'm not too sure. It's like the King Prime or the Queen Prime of the Krang Empire. I wasn't too sure about that, but yeah.
Yeah, so with the Krang Prime, that was Krang Prime's first appearance in Tell History. So you more or less had the same reaction as everyone else. I wanted to say that with this scene, I would say that it didn't really feel as like big of like an oh my god, the invasion coming type scene, just because there wasn't really that many Krang there until afterwards, and when they would just stand in one line and just marching. So I would say that would have had a bit more of a bigger impact if there was a lot more Krang there. But yeah, afterwards we do have the space hero scene. I'll just say that scene was really good, and it has so many similarities to the actual episode. Do you notice anything like that?
Yeah, I did have there was some foreshadowing going on there with like the captain going down with the ship, and of course later on in the episode, Leo sacrifices himself to save the rest. But yeah, there was some similarities with the show. A lot of foreshadowing in that episode of the space heroes, which was really really cool to see.
Yeah. Well, yeah. After that, we do have Donnie letting everyone know about the invasion. And that's when they all gear up. And was it me, or did Splinter basically want his sons to die? It didn't even go with them, which is also really weird as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I had a few questions of my own for that particular scene.
yeah. I'll have to say, I must admit, it was like, really cool to see the Toads, like gear up. It was and see. Oh yeah, this is like definitely on another level of things. But Splinter was acting so weird, and I don't know how it was the Toad's destiny to save the world or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know why Splinter didn't go. But when April has a go at Splinter about this, why didn't she go either?
Yeah, I really don't know, but I just quickly want to say about Splinter's attitude towards April. That was really messed up of Splinter to do that.
It
Like,
was so out of
he,
character.
I know, he just snaps for no apparent reason out of the blue and snaps at April. I'm like, hold up, what's going on here?
Yeah, it just seemed really out of character for him.
Yeah, I
But
just couldn't understand that.
yeah, okay. So this is all where the podcast could go in two different directions in terms of how long we spend on one section. So, Do you want to either talk about the Splinter scene first, or the stuff with the turtles and the Technodrome? Which bit would you like to rant about first?
Oof. I got no clue. How about you decide?
Don't do the Splinter stuff because I've got a feeling we got a lot to say about that.
Alright, Splinter it is.
Okay, so so Kirby takes April out, and he comes back with two mouses. So shouldn't basically at this point wouldn't this be a way for Shredder to know where Splinter is because of the mouses and all that, or
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like, oh my god, they know where the layer is now. They're gonna come down and they're gonna kill Splinter. Like, surely that would have been the case instead of the whole super villain, evil type throwdown that they're gonna have at Shredder's lair. It was so inefficient. Like, surely they could have just sent some foot soldiers down there, taken him out easily. Job done.
yeah, and then also I like how Shredder says when he need to end this, but he never says where. And even though Splinter goes to Shredder's hideout, how does he know where the hideout is? Because he's never been there before. Hmm.
Um. Oh my god, I actually didn't think of that. How the
Uh,
hell? I have no idea.
well, after that, we do have a really amazing fight scene with Splinter versus the Foot on the stairs. Oh my god, I love that bit so much. It was so short, but showed how much of a badass Splinter is. And with him, like tackling someone and the Foot hands in the air, it's so dark but amazing. What do you think about
That
that scene?
was. Oh my god, I'm not gonna lie. That was probably the first scene that I like. We haven't seen much of Master Splinter fight. We've seen him fight with the turtles, and of course we've seen him fight Leatherhead. But we've never seen Master Splinter outside fighting against the Foot or anything like that. So just seeing that for the first time was a really cool experience to see because we saw his fighting techniques, his fighting moves, and to be honest, it kind of set off my Assassin's Creed a bit. Like, it reminded me of so much of Assassin's Creed and how stealthy he was, how he concealed his face, his just stealth in every field possible. It was just something. I can't put my words to it because it was just awesome. Doesn't give it credit.
Yeah. Well, the next fight was Splinter versus Dog Pound and Fish Face. And again, it's just so amazing, so dark, but at the same time, brilliant. Um, I mean, things. If we had a lot more time, I would really go into detail. Be like, oh my god, this bit was amazing. This bit was amazing. But to keep it brief,
Same.
yeah, it's just so amazing. Okay, what about the Shredder versus Splinter fight? Because I think it was the best
Oh
fight
my.
scene of the season. The
This
show,
is what we've been building up to.
yeah, it was. I honestly can't put into words. His rap mode was amazing. Um, I really wish we did have more time to talk about this because I I could go in detail about, oh my god, this bit was amazing. The lighting, the fire, oh my god.
Oh, the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire, and literally, it was. I don't know. I don't know where the Ring of Fire came from, but it was like a proper boss arena fight. Like you walk in and you immediately know you're gonna go fight up against the boss. You know it. You just know it. You walk in there, and the room is perfect. It's huge. There's fire. You know something's gonna go down, and that is literally what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that even though this fight scene was probably the best part about the season, I do wish that maybe there was like a little bit more of a build up towards this fight. But other than that, I thought that it was near perfect.
Definitely. Like with Master Splinter trying to Master Splinter, something switched in him and he just went into full on rat mode. Like did the fighting techniques of a rat, he was running like a rat, he was all over the place, and of course the fighting techniques with the swords and the weaponry and how Shredder uses his. It was it was a lot to take in and digest, but overall, I must say it was a great scene overall. like I said, if we had more time, I would be into full on detail with this right now. But sadly, we don't have enough time trying to get all through this. Let's carry on.
Yeah, one final thing which I would like to say is that scenes like this, and even like past scenes where we do see Master Splinter fight, it shows how amazing and just amazing this character is. Because most of the time, I do think that this character is a bit underused and he's just there. But when you get scenes like this, it really makes me wish that we had a lot more of him.
100%.
Okay, now going into the next scene, the cry is Miwa scene. And I don't know your reaction to this, so I'm really interested to hear what it is. What did you think of that, spoiler? Or not spoiler, but twist? And did you
To
see
be
it coming?
honest, like deep down, to be honest, I did not realize that Karai was Mia or me. Is
Miwa.
it Mia? Miwa. Thank
Miwa.
you. Miwa, thank you. And to be honest, that was quite a shock. But deep down, in past episodes, like when we first was introduced to Karai, and of course how their family was, deep down you knew Karai was somewhat related to Master Splinter, but you didn't want to say it because you didn't know whether it was true or not. But it was a really cool thing to see. Like after all this time, my predictions and my gut feeling was correct from the get go that Karai was related to Master Splinter in some way or form. That I couldn't just put my finger on it, but now it's been confirmed, and I can rest easy now knowing that it is true.
Yeah, I mean, for me, watching this for the first time, I don't think I was of an age to truly understand it. So so I don't think I've never had that build of like, oh my god, it's all that, because I was quite young when I watched it for the first time, so I don't really remember it too well. So it's never been one of those oh my god type moments for me. But ever since starting the podcast and talking to you, because I know not trying to spoil things, this is one of the hardest ones not to spoil, because there was like so many things which I want to talk about in like future episodes, but because of this being like a really big spoiler, it
Mm.
was really hard.
Because in many episodes before this major one, I've always said that there's something going on, and now I know that all this time you would keeping it from me, so I would have the same reaction. And I'm glad that you've done that because it was something, and I'm glad that you didn't spoil it for me. If you
You're
understand where I'm
welcome.
coming from.
Yeah, yeah. I must admit, like all the evidence was there. Like, um, I I mean, things. One of the ones which I really wanted to say, but it would have given away this spoiler so much. Was in Cry's Vendetta, Cry changed her name to Harmony to infiltrate Cry, right?
Yeah.
Well, in Japan, I think it is that is actually translation for Miwa. It was
No
so hard.
way.
It was so hard for me not to say that.
Damn.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, now that this big spoilers out, I can talk about stuff which I want to talk about now. Not as much as I probably could have, but or can, but it'll be a lot easier now of not being around the bush.
Hmm.
Oh, but yeah, so yeah, what do you think this can like change for like the rest of the show and like Splinters and Cry's relationship going forward?
Be honest, I'm not too sure. Like, there could be 101 different ways that this can go down. One, Shredder and Karai fight it out, and then something magical happens, and then they stop fighting, or they go to town on each other and just fight to the death. There could be like Leo and Karai. There's a whole tons of things that, to be honest, I can't think at this time because there's too much to say, and I don't know if I will go on a tangent. I will go into like the whole story arcs and different like alternative realities. I will do that right now, but I'm trying to hold myself back from going down that path.
Okay, well, I've got one comment that'll screw you up, and the fan base has been really contemplating about it for years. You know how Leo has a thing for Karai? Well, aren't they basically brother and sister?
Uh, No, 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 no. I do not need that on my conscience at the moment.
This has been the conversation for years, no, over like nearly 10 years.
Um,
Moving on.
yeah, no comment, no comment.
I wonder why that is.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, moving on, we do have the Turtles breaking into TCRI. Raph tries or does the pigeon to get the Turtles past, and Mikey teases the Krang and Donnie hits him off. What do you think about this scene?
Well, the turtles using the shell racer to break into the TCRI building was pretty good to see, and they're using their skills. And of course, Metalhead returns after all this time. He's just been sitting there in the corner of Donnie's garage, and now he's being used once again. And it was just really cool to see him back in action with his like Gatling guns, his flamethrowers, and just seeing him go to town on the Krang, which was awesome to see.
Yeah,
The the scene where Raph uses the pigeon to block the camera and to obscure the Krang's vision was pretty ingenious, I must say. But that pigeon was the highlight as well. That pigeon had screen time that was so important. Without the pigeon, I don't think they would have gotten through. So that pigeon's like is like one of those characters in the underrated characters within the
he's like the Rat
series.
from Endgame.
Mm, yes, exactly. So credit to the pigeon right there. But overall, that scene was a pretty good scene to watch. I did like where the Krang fell off, and they said, "Oh, this is going to leave a mark," and they were just joking about it as they were falling to their demise, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. But overall, pretty good scene.
I have to say that I do enjoy the Raph using the pigeon thing because that has been done in other versions of Turtles, as this was done in issue 4 of the original Turtle comics. So like to see it come back over and over again in different versions is always really nice to see, and like and other versions it's always like really interesting to see how like different versions interpret different or like elements of other versions. So I think it's like quite cool. The Mikey thing, I mean, I don't know. It's just Mikey, and I thought like it reminded me a lot of a scene from another version of Turtles where he does like a Egyptian dance to get some villains from the doorway, and but yeah, okay. So Batista arrive fight scene where they had to fight General Trag, and they had to fight the Krang, and then that's when Leo decides to blow up the building. What do you think about this scene?
Well, that scene where they come in, they fight, and there was a lot going on, and I'm still having trouble trying to put my words together on how to describe this scene into words, but I don't have the words like to describe how cool and how perfect the scene was. It was choreographed in such a way certain elements led on to other elements which made the story develop and how the scene played out. But overall, with the with the uh, ah, with the portal and all of that, and of course, I loved Donnie's sarcasm when Leo said to him, "Was like, why didn't you tell me there was a force field?" And he said, "Oh, I wanted us to fail." Of course, I didn't know it was there, and that I just loved Donnie's sarcasm right there. That was pretty good to see and hear. But overall, it was really weird seeing the giant lava guy. I don't know his name, and I'm sorry if people are gonna get annoyed about it. Just leave me out of it, alright? But yeah, seeing him again was pretty cool. He was guarding the portal, and of course Leo was using the ionic fuser gun,
I'm not too sure
whatever
what
it
it really
was.
was.
I had no idea either, but it was cool nonetheless. Just seeing him blow up lava face, that's what I'm going to call him now, lava face with it was just pretty cool to see. And I must say, the fight scenes, like, I swear the production team and the animation team went all out on this scene, on just how creative and in depth each scene and animation was. It was very smooth, it was it just flowed throughout the entire scene, which I really, really enjoyed. Such as the scene when Raph uses his weapons to stab and knock out one of the Krangboks who shot him. That scene just stuck out to me in that. Just seeing him throw all his blades at once and just seeing it pierce through the arm of the Krang. That's what I really enjoyed, and that's what one of the main scenes from that scene that I picked up from it. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, I have to say that overall, this fight scene, there was just so many like good things going on. I wouldn't say that this was like one of the best fight scenes throughout the episode. Like, I mean, we already know what what the best fight is, but I'd say that this was just like a really good, enjoyable warm up fight scene for like, the stuff with like in like Technodrome and all that. So it was like, I mean, each time had like really good scenes with Donnie like cracking the ship or the portal and going all like was it like all hell me, and then like Leo versus the rock guy, like they all had like really good scenes, and also the one they mentioned with Raph, like again like really good standout scenes for each turtle. Yeah, again I wish I had more time. um the Leo sacrificing himself scene, I thought this one was amazing. Going slicing from Krang to Krang, going into the power cell and jumping out. Amazing, beautiful scene. What do you think about that one?
To be honest, it was really cool to see Leo bursting out the glass with the light lighting and all that. Like the lighting really did that scene good on that one. Just seeing him burst out the glass and falling down, and I kind of like I said, it kind of reminded me of like the Assassin's Creed falling, like where the assassin would fly out and jump down to safety and rescue from a high place, and just seeing him fall, like he accepted his demise there and then, like he was
Yeah.
falling, he sacrificed himself. Like it was really, really awesome to see that. And to be honest, that scene was really, really good to see. It was just well put together, like the animations, the styles, the lighting, and just the entire thing was just pieced together so good that I couldn't really describe it in words.
Okay, well I've got another scene that's gonna really annoy you. Leo destroyed the power cell, but the power cell was supposed to power the Shellraiser.
What?
Or do we not talk about the power cell anymore?
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't gonna go into it, but I did. I was gonna bring up the question, but I thought, nope, it's fine. They've probably found a new alternative fuel source for the Razor, but nope. They just decided to blow up the whole building anyways, not taking any technology with them. You know, it's the heat of the battle sort of moment. You know, you just do it. You're not even thinking about the future or future events that's gonna happen. You're just gonna do it. It's the heat of the moment. Just blow up the whole building. You know.
Yeah. And then the next scene, which I don't think is really too much, but like the turtles on the turtle gliders and all that. Where did the turtles get the gliders to go from Tesseract into midair? I don't understand that.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't know where they got them either.
but then the next scene we do have Kirby finally reveals his true intentions, and they all finally get revealed that he's a spy. I don't think the scene worked as well as they intended it to. There wasn't that much build up to it. It's like oh my god, I can't believe Kirby's he's working for them or anything like that. I mean, because he escaped last episode and we knew that he was working for them. There was like no oh my god, I can't believe that happened type scene. What do you think about that scene with Kirby?
Well, Kirby, in this episode was a lot more. I believe he was a lot more villainous in this scene. Like it showed more in this episode than it did previously. Like we also saw the Krang control chip in the back of his neck, which set off alarm bells immediately and just informed the audience that this guy is bad news. Like we can't trust him. But just seeing him come to his senses after they've removed the brain chip, and of course, I loved where Raph jokingly tried putting the brain chip on Mikey, but that was funny to see.
Yeah.
But now realizing um Kirby's Kirby's problem, it was just I didn't have much to say about that because Kirby finally got to his senses. They told him what has happened, and of course the turtles then heroically go and save April. It was just a filler scene in my opinion, but it was cool to see how um just how he reacted in his different state of mind at that time.
Yeah, I was also to say that Kobe didn't really seem too bothered by the fact that he was the one who that let Krang have April and that she might die. He didn't really seem too bothered by it. He just like, oh yeah, the end of the world and all that. Oh no.
Yeah, it's like I've got another.
Yeah, I'll just say that for the next scene where the Turtles are trying to get into the hang on, first of all, were the pods that are coming down from the Teledrome, was it me or did they look like Pokeballs? Or am I just going crazy with that?
um, Now that you say it, yeah, they do look like Pokeballs a bit. I wasn't gonna say anything, but now that they've brought it up, they do kind of look like Pokeballs a bit. I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah, they do look like Pokeballs a bit.
Well, thank God for that. Okay, so the next one we
You're
do
not
have...
going mad.
Yay. So for the next one we do have Raph breaking into it after Toes just saying, oh yeah, we could do all these plans to get into the ship and all that. I felt like that scene was really unnecessary. I mean, it would have been better if we got to see Raph actually take down the Krang, but I felt it was rather pointless. Do you have anything to say about that scene, or do we just move on to the next one?
To be honest, I don't really have much for that. I just thought it was pretty cool that Raph took the initiative to disobey every order and just go in there, guns blazing. But yeah, to be honest, I don't really have much for that one.
Okay, so for the next scene, we do have Turtles getting to the ship and trying to find April, and that's when they fight the Krang, but with no gravity. What do you think about this scene?
To be honest, that was pretty weird seeing them in a new environment, like the Technodrome, like fighting in a new environment. And of course, there was no gravity, which made it 10 times more weirder. But the turtles are ninjas at the end of the day, and of course, ninjas are very good at adapting to their surroundings. So that was pretty cool seeing them fighting Zero G against the Krang and their little ships. So to be honest, it was an alright fight scene, but not one of the best ones in this episode. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'll just say that this fight scene was definitely one more creative and more unique ones, just because of the no gravity that was able to do. I know if also there was able to do a lot more with a lot less. Even though there was fun, just some Krang with them have no gravity, they had to be creative with how to fight, and I found it a very unique fight compared to all the other ones where because all the other fights they just been with gravity and oh yeah, we need to jump, we need to do backflips, punch and kick. But this one, they will sort of need to sort of assess where they were, their surroundings, even though it wasn't much of a surrounding, but it felt very unique because of how creative they had to get to fight. And I thought it was quite cool. But yeah, that's when the Turtles do go and see Krang Prime, and I think that's when they start to head out, and they're running, and Krang Prime's body should not have been able to support it because it is so unrealistic. It should have fallen over.
Yeah, I did have my concerns with Krang Prime's body, and of course, I'm not gonna lie. Seeing Krang Prime in that suit just confirmed my beliefs from the get go. They are giant gum people. Like, they're just gum people. And to be honest, seeing the Krang Prime run around in this giant metal suit as like a giant pink blob, I'm like, oh my gosh. It was very, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of weird and kind of terrifying at the same time because you saw this giant pink blob in a full suit of armor just running towards you. That would have been definitely scary for the turtles, I would think.
Yeah, I think that was weird for me was just like how skinny the legs were. I was able to hold up that big of a Krang with like how tall it was and everything. It just seemed like so unrealistic. If like the legs and arms were thicker, then yeah, I can understand it. But like the thing is with this fight's the chase scene, like Leo holding back Krang and Prime. Again, that's I know they do say this quite often, or we used to say this quite often, it being unrealistic. But like Leo holding back Krang Prime with that small of a chain, that was a bit unrealistic for me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That was very unrealistic in my opinion. Like, I just like, and how from Mikey's nunchucks, how did they grow?
I think it's just, I'm not too sure. I think it's like a hidden chain, but I don't really understand how. I don't know. It's turtles. What do you expect, really? Anything could happen.
Yeah, good point.
But yeah, and then after the turtles get out and Rav or Leo supposedly die, how did Leo get out so fast? How?
Like you said, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Anything could happen.
Yeah, I guess, but God, it's unrealistic.
Mhm.
um, okay. What do you think about the end party scene?
The end party scene. Um, that was certainly it was. I'm not gonna lie. In my opinion, I believe that was the most cringiest part of that episode.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I'm not the only one, thank God, because I'm not gonna lie, it was it was certainly something, and of course, Raph and Leon, of course, Donnie and April were dancing together, and it was yeah, cringy to say the least.
I don't think it was bad cringe like how Donnie is with like April. I think it's just like that fun kind of cringe, but you'd much rather see anything else. Like it's a really good, it's a good nice scene, and but it's the same unexpected that it didn't really work, and it felt out character for some of them, and also like some of the dance moves. Yikes!
Yeah.
April's solo dance, Raph's solo dance. You know all the dances. It wasn't
Yeah.
bad. It was just I'd much rather
They were
watch anything
very
else.
Yeah, they were very like, how can I say this? They were very like back then when the show was aired, maybe those dance moves would have slide, but in this day and age, I don't think. Nah.
I think that for like the 90s, 80s or 2000s, yeah, I feel like that could work, but I don't think it works for this modern time period.
Yeah, definitely not.
Okay, so then for the final scene, we have the Tenodrome lighting up again in the ocean. What do you think of that season 2 tease?
Well, I believe that the Krang, I think the Krang are going to be around for a very long time. That the Krang is going to be a benevolent presence in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, and they're going to be constantly showing up whether you like it or not. So sadly, they're not going to be. Sadly, they're going to be with us into. Sadly, they're going to be with us. I think for episodes to come, and just seeing them again. Sure, the Krang are technologically superior and they're a pretty cool alien race, but I cannot stress enough how they're so annoying. Their voices annoy me to the extent, sorry, to the extent of just just losing it.
Okay, so a final question for the scene. What do you think is going to happen in season 2 or or anything going forward after watching these 2 episodes?
It's a tough one to say, really. I really don't know what's going to happen. Like, I know that the Krang's going to be with us. That is a dead certain. But then, of course, with Shredder and Karai and everything else that's been going on, I really don't know what's in store for next 4 seasons to come. I really just don't know.
Okay. Interesting. So yeah, what do you think about these 2 episodes overall?
Um, overall, these 2 episodes were very well put together. Like, someone was sat at a desk and someone put their life and passion into the designs, the scenes, the storytelling, the backstories. They really did put their heart and soul into these 2 episodes alone, and it's just really nice to see how producers, even though it is like a kids TV show, that they have tried to put as enough comedy and heroism and sarcasm and darkness to it all, despite the fact it is like a show aimed at young children. But as as the years go on and the show becomes less and less known, it is still good nonetheless. Even though this is my first time watching the show and I've enjoyed it, it is just good to see that shows from from the past are still relevant and still like hold their own to this day. And to be honest, it was really good to see these 2 episodes come together, show the light, and give us a whole new perspective on everything, such as Master Splinter and Shredder and Miwa and Karai. That was just really awesome to see, and just see how all the pieces are slowly being connected together one by one and developing a much greater story to this whole universe and series, which is just really awesome to find out and see.
Yeah, I have to say that because on one night there are other invasions that do happen. Um, you can say this word, but the thing is, season 2 finale episodes are called Invasion, so I can't be around the bush that much.
Mm.
So I'd say that even after watching the other invasions and all that, it this one I don't know. I'll say it's definitely still does hold up. There are definitely some really outstanding moments from this episode, such as like the Shredder and Splinter one, and some other ones with the turtles that really do stand out compared to the other versions. But I do think that after watching the other ones, this one does sort of lack a lot of oh my god moments. Where all the other ones did have like oh my god this happened, this oh my god this and this and this. But I think this season finale has the same problem as the first Avenger movie, where I'll say that like at the time it was groundbreaking, amazing to watch, and still holds up. But as you watch more of the same sort of thing, but like the other ones are better, this one becomes just like another regular type episode. That makes sense. So it's a still really good and amazing episode. Definitely one of the best from this season, and definitely still holds up as being one of the best from the show. So yeah. So quick before we do get into comments and trivia and all that, what do you think about this season overall, or like even just like the show overall so far?
Well, this season alone is I'm not gonna lie, there was ups and downs with this season. Like, for many episodes, it's been really good, a really good introduction, and a really good show of different techniques and production wise, and just seeing how different people have brought different ideas to the tables in each episode, which has been really, really cool. But this, like, and that's one of the upsides. The downsides, I
Pulverizer.
think everyone, I think everyone knows who's been following this podcast for a while now should know that the couple of episodes that I will not name for mentions that we'll we will not talk about. There was some ups and downs, but overall, this season was a nice introduction. It was a nice, simple introduction to the whole universe of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, and just understanding the complex nature of the turtles themselves and the environments that they've surrounded themselves in and the situations. It was a really, really good series, and it's I think it's going to be lots more to come.
Has it like changed your opinion on like turtles overall? Because I know like at the beginning, I think even you could tell that for the first episodes, like, oh yeah, this bit was good, I enjoyed this bit, but like now you're like really into it, like, oh my god, I really love this scene. Oh yeah, I mean, even that, like, even in today's one, it's like, you're saying like, because you're saying like, if you always had more time, you'd go into more detail about it. So would you say that your opinion's definitely changed?
Yeah, my opinion towards this franchise has shifted in light of meaning that I can think like with the stories and arcs, like I would take little scenes and switch them up into like a whole different arc. Like for instance, if April O'Neil didn't escape or the turtles were in the mafia, something crazy like that. And it's just been a really nice series so I can expand my knowledge and my my mental thinking and my imagination to help me in other aspects of different walks of life and helping me to encourage me to think outside the box, which has been really really cool to see. And it's been really nice to have, just allowing my imagination to run wild and allow different parts of my imagination to create stories that probably never existed until now. And it's just been really, really awesome to see. So, yes, I have shifted. This franchise has shifted me in, yeah, in ways you could say, yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize it changed it that much. um, okay, yeah. So do you want to hear some comments?
Let's hear them.
Okay, so Katie Ratliffy, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. They replied with gifts with this person on, I think it's Jimmy Fallon show, saying yeah. So that was literally all they wrote. We've got Precious Pixie. They say it's one of my favorite two parts episodes. I'd and I'll definitely agree with that. It's one of the better two-part episodes from the show. We've got Magma Striker. They put, now that is badass. The fighting style and action in this series is excellent, even with the animation limitation presented by the 3D style. If this had an animation style of Rise of TMNT budget, I can imagine how incredible this would look. I'm going to go on to say that I would like another series inspired by another version of Turtles, which would just be amazing.
Mm.
Okay, so Freelance Wolf, they put the season 2 finale had a similar premise, and it was much better. The Shredder and Splinter fight is definitely the highlight of the showdown. Splinter fighting like a rat is something that was sorely needed. I didn't see any need to have Leo sacrifice himself twice, and Splinter's speech to him that literally told him to sacrifice himself could have been worded a lot better. Yeah, I'd agree with like that last last two points about Leo sacrificing himself twice and Splinter's telling him to basically die. Yeah, I feel like that could have been changed quite a bit.
Mm.
The and AS-YAR89, pretty sure I said it wrong. They put, I love the Splinter Shredder fight, especially when Splinter changed his fighting style. He fought like a rat and caught Shredder off guard. But the biggest blow was that cry was Miwa. Yeah, I can't deny with
Mm.
that.
Nope.
Okay, now next one is quite a worded one. I actually didn't actually read all of it when I replied to them. I just read the last little sentence of the reply of that. But this person's called the Government Radiant 486. They put, I think that it being the last episode of the first season, it really showcased how the turtles are grown into capable fighters. Because during some parts in the season, one, they tend to be a bit clumsy with their skills because they aren't used to fighting in certain situations. Now they seem more confident, although still panicked because they were because there was a lot at stake. Earlier in this episode was epic, and love the connections they make from space heroes to real life circumstances. It's such an interesting way of foreshadowing. I love the brotherly bonding in this episode as well, where the reaction to to losing Leo, especially his wrath, was so telling of how they regret how they would question his plans and give him a hard time. I feel like they start to take his leadership a bit more seriously after this episode. There are so many good things to say. I may be biased, but it's nostalgic for me because I remember being so excited for it to air on TV, and when it did, I was glued to the screen. Do you have anything to comment off that?
To be honest, no, not really. I agree with that. To be honest, I agree.
I remember when this episode first came out, because at the time I didn't actually have Nickelodeon, but someone uploaded this episode to YouTube, and I remember watching. I don't think I actually watched the second part until until I got the DVDs later that year. But I remember watching the first part on my mum's phone and used all the data up. So yeah, less said about that the better. I'd say. Okay, you want to hear some trivia?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so the title used to advertise on Nickelodeon when it first was coming out, as a 1 hour special, called it the Booyaka Showdown. Yeah, Booyaka Showdown. But in the show, it's simply known as Showdown. I must admit, I don't think they could have changed the title. I don't think Showdown. I don't think worked too well for most of the stuff for this episode. And what do you think about the title for it?
Showdown, to be honest, was quite fitting for this episode. Sure, they could have put like the end or something like, but Showdown did suit it quite well. Like I was thinking they could have changed it to like the end of the beginning or something, or or something really something crazy like the beginning of the end or the beginning of the end of the beginning, if you get what I mean. So it just prompts
Yeah,
further development, if you understand. So, but
yeah.
yeah, Showdown it was decent for what it was trying to portray.
This episode, this is the first time in the series that it's not a flashback where we see Splinter fighting Shredder, which is just amazing. Kirby was brainwashed because of a chip on his neck that we saw in Operation Breakout. The pigeon in front of a camera, it alludes to how the Turtles broke into the T-Cell building in issue 4 of the original Turtle comic books, which came out in like 1984. So it's still quite cool that like some of that stuff like nearly 40 years ago is still coming back around. Um, it's implied that Donnie made Metalhead self-aware. The microfusion Omi that gun has the same design as the subspatial endoparticle disruptor as seen in Baxter's Gambit. Oh. Okay, so for part 2, Splinter meets Karai for the first time, only to find out that Karai is none other than his missing long-lost daughter, Miwa. I wouldn't really say that's too much of trivia, but yeah. The scene where the Tendrome is underwater is simply similar to the events in the 1997 series, in that the incarnation of the bottom of the sea is one of the numerous places that is being stranded. Oh yeah, in the 80s show, that Tendrome got stranded in some of the most weirdest places. It got stranded at the bottom of the ocean, at the bottom, at the Earth's core, in Dimension X. There are some really weird places that the whole show is just really weird. This episode marks the very first appearance of Krang Prime, in spite of the fact that he has always been commanding the Krang throughout the entire season. Krang Prime Krang Prime is the first Krang seen with the ability to speak relatively sensible English without the use of a robot body. But yeah, what do you think about Krang Prime actually speaking English? Or normal English?
Yeah, that was really surprising. Like Krang Prime did speak like the invasion of which is known as Earth, like is beginning now. That was typical Krang, but to be honest, seeing Krang without the use of a robot body and a translator to translate everything actually spoke decent English.
Mm. During the dance party at the end episodes, various dance moves are used. When Donnie and April are dancing in unison, they are doing the chicken dance. when Raph is dancing alone, he does a 2 b-boy move, then ends it with a freeze. Oh god. There was an
Jeez.
error. When Leo is holding back Krang Prime and tells his brothers to escape, Donnie is the one to grab Raph and pull him back into the escape pod. When the chain snaps, Krang Prime misses catching the escape pod. The scene flips back to Raph, who breaks out of Mikey's hold, not Donnie's hold. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, don't hear the cast?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so so for part 1, it had there's 2 characters that are not in part 2, which is Dog Pound and Fish Face. Let me get them up because I don't want to say their names wrong. So Dog Pound was done by Clancy Brown, and Fish Face was done by Christian Lans. There were actually some other ones. Captain Run done by Brian Bloom, and Crankshaw done by Scott Menville. So April Neal's voiced by Mae Whitman, Donatello's done by Rob Paulson, Krang Prime done by Rosine Barr, Krang done by Nolan North, Leonardo voiced by Jason Biggs, Michelangelo voiced by Greg Sipes, Raphael voiced by Sean Esentine, Triller voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, Splinter by Hoon Lee, Carlos Chang Brian Gumby, voiced by Jim Meskmin, Cry, voiced by Kelly Hu, Kirby O'Neill, voiced by Keith Silverstein, and yeah. So the only one which we haven't looked at, is Krang Prime, which is voiced by Rosin Barr. They were born November the 3rd, 1952. They're an American actress, comedian, writer, television producer, director, farmer, what's this one? Antecedent is a self-attitude that involves rejection of science. So she's a scientist as well. Science advocate, I don't know really at this point. In 2012, presidential nominee of the California-based Peace and Freedom Party. Jeez, she does a lot.
Damn.
Barr began her career in stand-up comedy at clubs before gaining fame for her role in the sitcom Rosine. After her sitcom ended, she launched her own talk show, The Rosine Show, which aired from 1998 to 2000. In 2005, she returned to stand-up comedy with a world tour. In 2011, she starred in unscripted TV shows, Rosine's Nuts, that lasted from July to September of that year, but her life on Hawaii's farm, her tenant on her farm in the show who lived in the tent was Greg Sipes. And yeah, it didn't really say what else she's been in, but by the sounds of it, she's done way too much more than what we will ever do in our lives. But yeah, so next week is the top 10 episodes. I do hope that you actually have that actually remember your list, because I'm pretty sure you said nearly all the episodes were like top for on your list or something like that.
Yeah.
Would you say that this episode was on your list?
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Okay, well, yeah, I got a feeling that's going to be really interesting. because we now actually went into detail about like where episodes were, so I'm really interested to see what top 5 are and all that. But yeah, cool. This has been another amazing episode. If you do want to reach out to us or leave a comment for the podcast, you can do so on the Facebook post I post up. You can leave it on the YouTube videos, community tabs, or the YouTube shorts. You can leave a comment on the Reddit post. The Anchor, you can leave it on there as well, either a text message or a voice message. But yeah, this has been another episode of Talking Tolls. I've been your host, Teddy.
I've been Hayden.
and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye, yo, bye.
Bye.